Managers are making a living off of people's ignorance. I don't think most artists and producers need managers. You know the most common answer people give you when you ask them, how do I know if I need a manager? When you have something to manage. Most of y'all have nothing to manage and you still have managers. What are they doing for you? They're doing shit that you could do yourself. If you don't have anything to manage, then you have plenty of free time. So why don't you build these relationships yourself? Why don't you learn how to send your emails? Why don't you learn how to collect your money? Why don't you call people and pitch your own services? Why do you need a manager? Some of you guys have managers that entered the industry the same year as you. So what is the difference between you two? They're willing to learn the business and you're not. And I am trying to say, before you put somebody in charge of looking over your contracts and negotiating for you and handling your emails, you should probably learn how to do that yourself. That would be the best case scenario. And it is 100% possible. And there's plenty of good managers. I'm not trying to come at all managers, but I am trying to say that more artists and producers need to start looking at themselves as their own manager and stop relying on other people. The more you rely on other people, the more likely it is to have your business fucked over. So why are you gonna sign to a manager you just met over the DMs and lock yourself in for a number of years when the only value they're giving you is to email for you sometimes? Because I know how a lot of you producer managers operate. Is that worth 20%? Is it? I don't think so. Now, sometimes it is, depending on the amount of money you're receiving. If you're receiving a $10,000 advance, 20% is probably not worth it. But if you're receiving a $1,000 advance, it might be worth it, because those emails can take a long ass time sometimes. But you don't want a manager who's in it to charge for their service. You want one that's gonna invest into you as a creative. And they have proven that they believe in you as a creative. You don't want a manager who's in it because they see you have 5 plaques on your Instagram feed and now they wanna manage you because they know you're about to make a lot of money. Yeah, now that I have plaques, now you wanna manage me, but would you have been there during those times where I wasn't making any money? This is why I like managers like Verse, who we just interviewed on Producer Royalty, because you could hear it in his voice how passionate he is about the artists he represents and producers. He is not in it for the money, and anybody he represents, he will be vouching for them and pitching them to everybody he meets, and speaking so highly of them and actually trying to put on for them. He supported these acts from the beginning, not just when they get a little bit of clout. Of course, when you start getting a little bit of clout, everybody's gonna wanna manage you. Why wouldn't they? They could obviously make money off of you. And I know a lot of producers are looking for placements from their managers, but they do not need to be your manager to help you get placements. You could just say, anything that you help me get, you can have 20% of that, but I wanna have my own business on the side and I don't wanna lock myself into a management deal. You could literally just put it in a contract. If what you are looking for is help with placements, just put it in a contract. Anything you help me get as a placement or any opportunities you help me get, you can have 20% of that. But I don't want you to be my exclusive manager, and I don't wanna give you 20% of everything. There's no reason for them to be your manager. They're more of an A&R. Just give them a percentage of your advance in the publishing if that's what you wanna do. But you don't need to sign with them. You don't need to lock yourself in. That's not the only option. Plus, these managers have 30 producers sign with them. You think that they're giving you their full attention? No, they're not. They manage 30 producers and they're promising all of them placements. How does that even make sense? You can't promise these producers anything. How are you gonna push 30 producers' music? How is that even possible? But there are a lot of managers who make themselves useful by connecting people and their ability to network. Some people are naturally more gifted at connecting with people and building a network and are a little bit more business-minded. And a lot of these veteran managers do have a network and a system in place that they can put their clients into without you having to go through years and years trying to build that network yourself. For a manager, I think the absolute best quality they can have is a passion for learning and ability to make themselves useful across a bunch of different dimensions. That may sound obvious, but managers need to have an understanding of a lot of different parts of the industry. At least successful ones do. And that takes asking people the right questions and being able to learn how to get things done and being very attentive and having a great pitching ability as well. And I think that strong desire to continue learning is what differentiates an artist and a manager. Now, most artists could teach themselves everything they need to know about managing, and they could take the time to learn what they need to understand that role. Why don't they? Only reason why they don't is because they don't have a strong desire to learn it. Now, this is not to say you don't need a lawyer and you don't need some type of admin help if you don't know what to do. If you never collected your royalties for, you never navigated the placement process, you never spent any time learning about the publishing industry, then you need somebody to help you get through that and to make sure you're not making mistakes early on. Is it easy to learn about it online? No, it is not. But you can learn it online, and you can learn it by asking the right people the right questions. If you want to manage yourself, you could do that. And Producer Royalty is taking on the role of making that information you need to manage yourself available. Do I manage people? Kind of, but I'm not locking them into full deals, and they're not paying me any more than I think that the services are worth. Producer Royalty is more of an admin help than managers. We're more offering a service than managing people. Any producer we work with, we do not sign them to full deals. If they want to find another manager to work with, that is entirely fine. We actually split our fees with their managers if they do have a manager. We're not signing you to some exclusive deal, then you can't work with this other manager who wants to put on for you. At any point, you could be like, I don't want you to represent us anymore. And we'd be like, that's cool, that's fine. You don't have to. We don't even use contracts. The first 7 months, we weren't even using contracts. Why? I mean, maybe I should have, but I understood what the producer community needed, and I was just trying to make myself useful. I understood that this community needed help, so I wanted to make myself available and an asset. And what comes from that is I'm gonna learn about the community probably better than anybody at this point, and I'll learn how to solve their problems, and obviously money will start to flow from that. But we are absolutely not in it for the money. I went into this community looking for what problems I or systems could address. That was my viewpoint. I wasn't in it to make money, even because I was super passionate about it necessarily. So that's just perspective on managers. Find a manager who's willing to invest in you as a creative, because a lot of these managers are just in it for the money and they're just signing producers that shouldn't be signed to them. Have your manager prove their value to you before you sign with them, and prove they're committed to you. Because when you are signing to somebody, you are committing to them. How do you know your manager is committing to you?